Hi, and welcome again to another edition of Market Analysis for today, June 17th of 2024. I'm Giovanni Betancourt, analyst, trader, and educator with Vantage Markets, and this is a recording previous to the open of the U.S. session. Alrighty, well, another week, and it looks like a puzzle. How can stocks keep rising even with the Federal Reserve appearing to take interest rate cuts off the table? Now, the S&P and the Nasdaq spent most of last week closing at record highs. At the same time, the Fed pushed expectations for relief on interest rates further back. The Minneapolis Fed President Neil Kashkari said yesterday, that it's reasonable to expect to wait until December for the first cut. December. At the start of the year, hopes were high for cuts as early as March. Well, March is already in the back of your mirror. Now, this week doesn't offer much to add to the picture. Earnings from home builders Leonard and KB Home, along with grocery store Kroger, will add to whatever retail sales data show about consumer spending on tomorrow. Now that we're almost halfway through the year, it looks like traders either still think Fed cuts are coming or the stocks don't need the cuts to keep rising. But neither explanation holds up. It's true that bond yields fell last week on benign inflation data and other central banks already cutting rates, suggesting the Fed won't be too far behind. But overall, the bond market still mainly taking the Fed at its word. The 2-year yield is still at about 4.7%, up from 4.3% at the start of the year. The alternative, that the hype surrounding artificial intelligence lifting names such as Nvidia and Apple is enough to lift stocks on its own, is only true in a limited sense. Tech stocks are the only ones AI is helping so far. The market has a case of bad breath and not the one that stinks. Other sectors aren't doing nearly as well. AI is good for the overall index, but it doesn't help all stocks by any stretch. Now, none of this is to say that the headline index won't keep rising, but things look shaky for stocks outside of tech. With that being said, tech, the Nasdaq in front of us on a daily chart, on a daily candlestick chart, is poised to open up higher. Okay, so we are again in making new highs. So 18,780. 19,800. It's to be very close by. So will we reach that high today, 19,800? That's where I have my further resistance, and then 20,000 by the end of the month. I keep on saying that, but we are, if you look at the RSI, we are overbought. So let's see if we'll hit that level and just rebound from here. Will that happen? Will that be the case? Let's see. On the Nasdaq, as far as the S&P goes, well, the S&P 500 has been basically flat the last couple of days, last week. So we can say that we have created a triple top. A triple top is very not common. I mean, you can see double tops, but triple tops are uncommon. But this could tell you something. On Thursday, markets created, if the wick was high, it fluctuated to the downside, but it quickly recovered and it closed where it opened. So that's a flat day. The same thing happened on Friday. But if you analyze this, you will say, okay, so the market has come towards the 5,400 round psychological number. It has rebounded from here. It hasn't moved much higher, but it's come where it opened. So you can look at it this two ways. One, that this could be a bull trap. Secondly, that prices or the market is holding to these levels, even though it has fluctuated lower, but it has recovered. Now, there are two forces, one that is pushing prices higher and one that is pushing prices lower. So this is, and we have a triple top, equal highs, equal lows, flattish. This is also another great setup for a breakout. So a breakout to the upside, I've been talking about 5,500 by the end of the month. So we are, right now, we are basically at 65 points away from that. 65 points. Yes, 65 points away from 5,500. Could we just reach that and turn lower, or can we initially come to our 5,470 resistance level and retrace from here? We are on the borderline of being overbought territory, so everything is possible. Okay, I'm still gonna go for it. I'm still gonna say, yeah, I'm still going long the S&P. Now the Dow is a different story. The Dow has just been continuously doing lower highs and lower lows. This is a downtrend scenario, as we can see here. But we also created a channel. Okay, now we could just come in and go with the trend. So let's see if we're gonna come in meet Friday's low right around 38,250. So selling the Dow, buying the Nasdaq, buying the S&P for the morning. Crude oil. So crude oil, $79 is on the radar. We did kind of fluctuate to the downside earlier today, but we have recovered. So I am in favor of buying crude oil. Nat Gas, it looks like a reversal. It has happened. It's bouncing off the 270. So let's shoot. I'm gonna bring down my resistance initially to 90. So I'm still gonna be buying Nat Gas. Okay, Goldilocks. All right, so the 50-day moving average has crossed over the minimum of the Bollinger Bands. Okay, so will this basically just portray a momentum to the upside? Will it today just come down towards the middle of Friday's fluctuation, which it already kind of has already, and just turn around and do a reversal and continue trading higher? Initially, my target will be that crossing level. So that's where I'm going to bring my resistance to that level right there. That's how be my target. Buying gold. Let's see. Silver is bouncing off the 50-day moving average. It did fluctuate down towards that level. So let's see if it recover and up to the $30 marker. So buying silver, buying everything today. Well, let's see. Copper. Okay, well, base size copper. Unless I'm gonna bring down my support level to the lower Bollinger Band. Use that as a level, which is around 430 anyhow, and bring down my resistance to the 50-day moving average. So selling copper, just going with the trend. Bitcoin. Will Bitcoin continue to move lower? 64,000 is going to be the support. I'm going to bring down my resistance to this level right here. So yeah, Bitcoin, selling Bitcoin. The currency is, well, the euro, after having such a rough Friday, it fluctuated to the upside, even though it did open with a small gap down, has been closed. So initially, let's see if it'll be able to sustain itself above the 107 and just fluctuate a bit higher. So let's bring that resistance to the top wick of Friday session, and let's just use the Friday session range as my support and resistance for the euro. So buying the euro. Pound, it has opened with a small gap down and it's continued to move lower. So we're basically there. So I'm going to use that 50-day moving average as the support, and I'm going to bring down my resistance to Friday's high. And our index could also continue to move higher. And if that happens, it's going to bring a lot of pressure to not only currencies. It did open with a gap up. So I'm speculating that this thing is going to continue to move higher. Well, that's it for me today. Have a great trading day, and I will see you tomorrow.